Alright guys, welcome back. As we possibly had a little bit of stuttering on the stream, but based on a bunch of feedback, maybe we didn't, I don't know. Maybe it could have just been on my friend's end, but either way, looks like everything looks okay now to me. I don't know, everything looks as good as I can tell, but either way, we're going to jump immediately into our next match, and really all I did is just clicked on a game from the list of round 2 matches. So we're going to have Encore on our Radiant side, and they didn't tag up on the Dire side, but it's going to be TylooG is going to be their opponent. They are both in the, well, I guess, obviously they're both in round 2. So it's going to be just a round 2 match, just like our previous match was as well. If you're kind of following along X3M or KCF, well, KCF got eliminated, but X3M not going to be able to wait around and wait for their next match to come up. So I'm probably just going to be bouncing around, jumping in the next available game that I can. So we probably will be bouncing around a bunch. We probably will be bouncing around a bunch tonight, but we're going to try to cover as many games as we possibly can. And these guys are not really waiting here in the draft. So I'll quickly introduce myself. First of all, I'm Niz. If you're new to the channel, welcome to NizCast. If you're listening in on Dota TV, I'm streaming on twitch.tv/NizCast as well, so you can stop by either after the game, or maybe you can even leave Dota 2 and stop by the stream now. It's completely up to you, but either way, I'll be here and casting the game for you if you care to listen. But like I said, we've got Encore Esports on our Radiant side, and our Dire side is going to be TylooG. As for the starting bans, we've got Void and Lone Druid banned out by TylooG, and Encore banned out the Enchantress and the Lich. So a lot of very different bans already coming out this game as opposed to what we saw last game. But it was a Beastmaster first pick. They followed that up with an IO from Encore Esports, and a very surprising Crystal Maiden Abaddon opening from TylooG. Really interested to see where they're going to go with that in this draft, as we traditionally see Abaddon kind of played in the offlane. Crystal Maiden kind of rising in popularity in this patch, and definitely coming back to the forefront of competitive Dota. But another hero that was just picked is a big one that's rising right now. But we'll first cover our second round of bans, as we have Tiny and Ursa banned out by TylooG. The Weaver and the Slark, 2 heroes that are kind of similar, I guess, maybe.
5 seconds remaining.
I guess they're a little slippery. They're both slippery. I guess that's the kind of common trait that they have, but that's what's been banned out by Encore Esports. And then they picked up the Axe. Axe. I love Axe. I'm a big fan of Axe, and EG even played it. I actually don't even know the outcome of that game, because I had to go make some food and get ready for the cast. But Axe is starting to see some play, and he is definitely the biggest hero that got buffed when it comes to talking about the change to Blade Mail, and the fact that Blade Mail now reflects damage prior to damage mitigation. So if someone throws a 100 damage attack at you and your armor is going to reduce it down to 80, before Blade Mail would reflect back 80 damage, you'd also take 80 damage. Now what happens is you still take your 80 damage, but instead of reflecting back the 80, it reflects back the 100. And that is huge for Axe, because when he blinks in and taunts, he gets 40 armor from his taunt. So all the right clicks coming in, he's mitigating them ridiculously, and his damage that he's being reflected is also effectively being mitigated quite a bit. So a big buff to Axe's damage, and on top of that, his spin has also been changed to do pure damage. So he's also effectively going to be doing more damage from spin procs. So big buff to Axe, and we're going to see how Encore Esports are going to be able to take advantage of those newfound buffs to Axe. We've got a Gyrocopter pick from TylooG, so that's going to be their, what we assume is safe lane carry. Of course, we've seen Complexity use it to great effect in the mid lane, but we'll have to see how TylooG chooses to use it. We kind of expect that to be safe lane, with the Abaddon off lane and probably the Crystal Maiden babysitting that Gyro. As for Encore Esports, we're not really sure about their lanes yet. We can expect the Beastmaster be off lane. Wisp, typically we see in the mid lane. Axe, we can see it in a bunch of different roles. We can see it duo off lane, not really an option this time around. We could potentially see it duo mid with the IO, That's a possibility. Not sure if it's going to be what we're going to see, but it is a possibility. We could see it run as position 4 in the jungle. Definitely a possibility, but not anymore with the Dazzle getting picked up. Another option is the safe lane axe. So it's really whether he's going to be mid or safe lane, and whether or not they want to put a hero with him in the mid lane if they decide to put him there. But that will all be kind of ironed out with the Encore Esports final pick. But I really like the Dazzle pickup as well, as Axe is going to be able to blink in, get a taunt off, and the Dazzle heal bomb will also come in. And then they've even got additional targets for that to bounce off of and do more damage because they've got Beastmaster Boars. And maybe even a Hawk would be in there as well. I doubt that's the case, but it's a possibility. The other thing is Dazzle gives more armor to his team as well, even further bolstering Axe, so he's even harder to take down from right-click damage sources, which is pretty much what a lot of Gyrocopter's damage is later on in the game. Not so much early, but later on in the game. So that'll also help Axe kind of be more relevant as the game goes on. And of course, Shallow Grave's just fantastic. It's always good. Whenever Axe is on the verge of going down, or anyone else for that matter, Shallow Grave's going to be there to kind of delay their death and potentially even keep them alive for quite a bit longer. But I'm not sure if Axe is
10 seconds remaining.
the ideal target that they want to be Wisp using the IO to port around and go for relocate ganks, so they might be looking for something to still pair up with that. I do like the Winter Wyvern pick picked up by TylooG, as Winter Wyvern's one of the big heroes in the current patch so far. We're seeing a lot of teams show a lot of interest in that Winter Wyvern. His ultimate, the cooldown of Winter's Curse got reduced quite a bit. It's now 90 seconds, I think, at all ranks, I believe. Yeah, I'm starting to learn the patch notes. As yeah, that's pretty big buff. The fact that he's able to use those. Of course, he got an Aghanim Scepter edition as well. Haven't seen that just yet. Not sure if we're going to see it this game. Probably not. He needs a really big and farmed Winter Wyvern to consider going for that Aghanims, because you've got your standard items, whether it's Force Staff, Glimmer Cape. You could even go for something like a mech before you're going to even consider going for something like that. And you typically get 2 of those 3 that I just mentioned. So I doubt we're going to see the Aghanim Scepter, but either way, Winter Wyvern, very strong pick. And somewhat of a good counter to the Axe Blink Initiate as well. It's kind of a strong counter engage that almost does the same thing as an Axe Taunt as well. Final 2 bans are in. That's going to be a Zeus ban from Encore and a Juggernaut ban from TylooG. So they're scared of a safe lane Jug.
10 seconds remaining.
And we already kind of spoke about Zeus in our last game, about the strength that
Radiant team
that he kind of showed towards the end of 686, and although he got nerfed a little bit, he effectively didn't really change much. The biggest nerf was actually to his passive and the damage that got reduced there, but even still, that's not really significant. Zeus probably doing pretty similar damage, even with the nerf. Queen of Pain's going to be the final pick for TylooG. That's going to be their mid laner. And they're going to be going up against an Alchemist. So now I'm even more interested to see where they're going to lane this. Are they going to put the Alchemist mid lane and have the Axe in the safe lane? Or maybe they'll even go aggressive and go for kind of some creep cutting action with the Axe and leave the Beastmaster safe lane. We see the Beastmaster starting to head up towards the top lane, so I don't think we're going to see that. But let's get into introducing our teams and our players as we're casting the Manila Major Open Qualifiers for the Americas region. This is round 2 action between Encore and TylooG. We've got Encore on the Radiant side. We've got Pinho? I don't know, I'm terrible at pronouncing names, but he's going to be playing the Beastmaster. We've got Sinvul playing the Alchemist. Sevens playing the Axe. We got Dindo playing the Dazzle, and DHX is going to be on the Wisp. As for our dire side, TylooG, we've got Lacoste playing the Winter Wyvern. We've got I Hope That... How did I just accidentally click on... I have no idea. Maybe I just clicked on it and I'm just completely out of it. We've got I Hope That You're Well playing the Queen of Pain. We've got Blood playing the Abaddon. Sasa is going to be on the gyrocopter. There's a bunch of pings constantly going out. They're trying to distract me. We've got Sturban playing the Crystal Maiden, and a bunch of Fairy Fires getting picked up by TylooG here. They've pretty much littered their inventory with a little... what are those, leaves, I guess? I don't know. But they filled up their inventory, and Encore going with a little bit more of a neat and tidy approach. But we've got Alchemist picking up the bottom bounty rune. Of course, the bounty rune has been changed, so it doesn't give you that initial XP that we're used to seeing before. At least just the initial bounty rune doesn't give the XP. All the other ones work exactly as they did before, but the initial bounty runes only give gold. And of course, you're an alchemist, you pick up Grievel's Greed, you get a huge boost in gold. So that's going to be even better for Sinvil. It looks like they are putting the Alchemist in the mid lane to go up against this Queen of Pain. It looks like the Wisp is going to be there with him to kind of babysit them in the mid lane as he's sending out his Quelling Blade and the bottle to the Io. As for top lane, it's going to be an off-lane Beastmaster going up a Crystal Maiden, Winter Wyvern, and Gyrocopter. And the bottom lane is going to be an off-lane Abaddon going up against an Axe, safe lane Axe, and Dazzle.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Already a glyph being used. I'm guessing that was a misclick there on the side of TylooG because there was nothing attacking any of their structures. But I hope that you're well. Looking like he's bullying in this mid lane already. But Sinvil's just kind of, he doesn't care. He's like, I'm just going to hit creeps. I'm just going to get some gold. I've got Grievel's Greed. I just want more and more gold. And I want to become a gigantic alchemist. We saw one kind of run away with the game the other night in the Dota 2 Canada Cup. Guys, he hit, I think, 10,000 net worth very, very early in that game. And he was pretty quick to double up on everyone else in the game. We'll see if Sinvil's going to be able to have a comparable performance. It's a tough act to follow, that's for sure. 2-minute rune about to spawn as the Beastmaster's rotated in from the top lane, and looks like the Radiant side's all over these runes, and they're going to sit there waiting for the top rune. As I imagine, we're going to have DHX pass the bottle to Sinvil. He'll bottle it up, he'll use the bounty rune and pass it back, and we're seeing exactly that. So Alchemist gets the full benefit from the Grievel's Greed and the bounty rune, and then DHX gets his bottle refresh. So good synergy there between the two. And the bottom rune was Invis, as we see Dindo just kind of pop out of that. He's not really too threatening on a Dazzle with an Invis rune. We do have a rotation in from Lacoste as he's coming in from the top lane, getting some good harass damage in as he threw out a Splinter Blast. But not too much kill potential, and I hope that you're well, sitting kind of low on HP, 190. He'll actually even pop a Fairy Fire there, as they're going to try to go in aggressive onto Sinvil here, but he's just getting healed up by DHX, and now I hope that you're well with the blink, and very aggressive, but he will get the first blood. It does cost him his life, but he does just barely get it. It was a very aggressive, very risky play, but he obviously read that situation well, and he got that first blood. Of course, he would have loved to have gotten out of there safely, but either way, first blood is still an advantage for him, so he'll take it. The only downside is you don't get the... the only downside, or the main downside for Sinvil, is the fact that he doesn't get the XP for the kill on the Queen of Pain, and that all kind of went towards the Wisp. But DHX, he's not complaining on that front. That gets him closer and closer to his relocate, so it's not really the worst thing in the world. Certainly if they weren't duo laning, then it would have been much worse, I guess, for Encore. Not only would they have given up first blood, but then they would have not gotten XP for the kill on the Queen of Pain. Looks like Axe free farming in this bottom lane as we expect. And Gyro free farming in this top lane as well. We'll take a quick look at our offlaners. We got level 4 and about now 4.5 for the Beastmaster, and Abaddon almost a full, in fact he is a full level behind the Beastmaster, so Abaddon having a little bit of a tougher time in that bottom lane. Starting to keep tabs on the XP here. Mainly the big one is when the Queen of Pain is going to hit level 6. She's definitely ahead in terms of XP in the mid lane. As now she's going to blink aggressively forward, going after DHX. Didn't see the TP coming in from Dindo, but it's not going to matter because he's going to be a little bit late to the party. as he was not able to get that shallow grave off in time. He will use it now onto Sinvul. But it looks like TylooG, they're not going to keep going forward for that. They got their 1 kill. Now they're just going to not risk it, go back, and continue farming. Level 5 now on the Beastmaster. Him hitting level 6 is going to be another big moment in this game as well. But I hope that Yoel is going to hit it first. So he's going to be able to make his mark on this game with a Sonic Wave. Is seeing a few people saying hi in chat. Hi back. Fortunately, I'm on a 5-minute delay, so can't respond back to you immediately. But hi Simba. How you doing? Sinvul taking some more damage in the mid lane. He needs to make sure that he keeps his HP kind of up. He can't let it dip too low because, like I said, that level 6 is getting very, very close for this Queen of Pain, and the burst damage coming out from her is always going to be scary. As I miss a kill in the bottom lane, as actually Abaddon gets a kill combined with Lacoste as the Winter Wyvern rotated down and they got the kill on that Axe. So very valuable kill for them right as the moment where Axe is really going to start taking off and really start farming very quickly on the map. So good valuable kill for them there. But a little bit of a break here for Sinvul because he had just sent back, I hope that you're well, back to the fountain, and this is right before he hits level 6. He's 1 XP away from level 6. He'll get it with that creep, and now he's got Sonic Wave, and he's going to try to go forward. Will he be able to get a kill here? The target's going to be DHX. Lacoste is there to help as well. He can Splinter Blast off of the Alchemist to provide a little bit of helpful damage in onto the Wisp, and they're going to need it as they get it there as the Sonic Wave comes out and the Splinter Blast helped. But Queen of Pain actually gets it with a right click, and then they're going to get another kill onto Alchemist. And Pinho TP'd on in. He did have level 6, and he did have Primal Roar, but was just a little bit too late to the party. Now Sturban, a little bit of a dangerous territory there on a Crystal Maiden. But we'll place an aggressive Observer Ward in behind the Tier 1 tower, as we see 2 aggressive Observer Wards already being placed up by TylooG, as they want to keep kind of pushing forward and reducing the space on the map that Encore has to farm. And look at this. I hope that you're well. As soon as he comes back to the lane, immediately he's greeted with a Primal Roar from the Rexar, as Beastmaster scores a kill there for his team. His Axe now has picked up a Windlace, so he has that additional movement speed to go with his Tranquil Boots. So he's a very fast, very speedy race car Axe here. As Armlet's going to be the pickup, as Alchemist going to pick it up right now. Sinvul's doing a little bit of farming in his jungle. Nice stacks made there by Dindo, I would assume. Sevens is going to take some damage here in the bottom lanes. He's going to run back to the safety of his Tier 1 tower, or what he thinks is the safety of his Tier 1 tower. Shallow Grave's going to have to come out from Dindo, as now Seven's going to have to man up, and he's going to chop off the head of that Abaddon. He's going to chop off the head of the Frost Dragon as well. And I don't know how the hell he's still alive. He will eventually go down, as I hope that your Will finally scores the kill with a right click there. Now he'll try to hide into the trees. He's got 7 seconds before his blink's going to be up. He's desperately chugging his bottle, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to go down to the Wisp of all heroes. And that Axe, I cannot believe that Seven stayed alive for that long. He chopped off the head of Blood, and then I think the Winter Wyvern thought for sure he had the kill there, and then all of a sudden the Axe swings again, chops off the head of the dragon, and somehow he just stayed alive for so long. Well, he's now up to 700 gold. He has picked up a Ring of Hell, so we're going to see most likely a Vanguard here, as Blood's getting chased down once again. Now he'll be grabbed by that taunt, and he chops off the head once again of that Abaddon. Hino's up in the top lane. Once again, he's 1,000 gold away from getting his Necro Book recipe. So good start for him. Got Sasa, who's also completed his Helm of the Dominator, so that's going to allow him to just kind of jump into the jungle and stay off the map and get some farming in. I hope that you're well. Once again, taking more damage from this Alchemist. He's not really able to harass the Alchemist too much anymore because Alchemist has that armlet, so he can basically boost his HP for any incoming damage and then toggle it off. And it's like he basically didn't even get hit. And then on top of that, he's got ridiculous regen from the Chemical Rage. And you put DHX there as well, as they're going to relocate up into the top lane, where Lacoste has been caught by a Primal Roar. He'll freeze himself up to delay the inevitable, but he is going to go down. There it is. I hope that you're well. TP's on in. Sonic Wave flies in, jumps in with the Scream of Pain, and gets the kill on the Beastmaster. May have been able to get more, but the relocate had just completed, and Sinful and DHX dropped back, or jumped all the way back to that middle kind of neutral camp there for the Radiant side.
Regeneration.
Dindo pinging out a Bounty Rune up in the top location. Sinful will gladly take that, as he's going to bottle up, and he gets the extra boost from the Grievel's Greed from the Alchemist. As we've hit the 10-minute mark, and now the Tome of Knowledges start getting purchased, as Sturban has purchased one. We haven't seen one from the Radiant side just yet, but we'll see if they're going to buy it. It would be great on Dazzle right now. That would put them really close. In fact, I believe it's 425 XP, so that would actually bring him right up to level 6. Level 6 on Dazzle isn't really the biggest. Weave is good, but typically you want just levels in general on the Dazzle, so that you can get higher level Shallow Grave, so you have that increased range. You want more levels on Shadow Wave, so it heals more, but also deals more damage. And then you can start putting some points into Poison Touch if you actually choose to. But Blood coming in here, trying to bully the Alchemist, and that is just not something that's going to work out for him. He has to pop the Borrowed Time, but now he's got nothing hitting him to heal him back up. But I hope that Urwell is going to TP in and try to help him out. They get the kill there onto the Dazzle, as now the target's going to be Sinful, as he's toggling his armlet there, as Sevens TP's on as well on the Axe, as he's now up to 1,800 gold, getting very close to his Blink Dagger, but not quite there just yet. And even if he had that, I don't think he would have been able to get in range yet. But missing a kill on the top lane, as Sasa scores a kill there onto Pino. Pino? I'm never going to get that right. You guys got to let me know in chat how I'm supposed to pronounce that, because I am terrible at pronouncing names. But that's the best I got so far. But a lot of new items already getting purchased here. We're actually going to switch on over to net worth, and you can see the Alchemist, the leader in that, and that's kind of where we expect him to be as the leader at 7,300 net worth. Right behind him, or not right behind, 2,000 gold behind him is going to be the Gyrocopter on TylooG. But then we've got the Queen of Pain pretty much just a little bit ahead of the Axe right now, but she's doing okay so far. Certainly there's been Queen of Pains that have had better starts, but honestly I hope that Urwell has been doing okay. He's got 7 kills. He does have 3 deaths, but 7 kills. He's definitely making a big impact on the game so far. He just needs to try and escape some of those a little bit more, and he'll start definitely running away with this game. And speaking of the Axe, his Seven's completed his Blink Dagger. He just has, and now as I jump to him in the bottom lane, he's TPing towards the mid lane, where Dindo is also TPing as well, as they're going to look to set up a kill here. And I think the initial target that they want is going to be the Queen of Pain, but we can see that Sturban's rotating away, and that makes, I hope that you're well vulnerable in the mid lane, but it's going to be relocate up into the top, where they're going to get another kill onto Lacoste. And now they're going to try to focus down Blood. TP's coming in, TP support coming in from the heroes of TylooG, as Blood's going to pop his Borrowed Time. Sturban and Sasa are both going to rotate up here. I hope that Urwell gets the TP off, as he's going to go on to Pino. And they get 2 kills, or actually, sorry, just 1 kill, 1 return kill there. And now the call is to push the top lane. You can see it drawn on the minimap, but it's really just going to be a trade, because Encore is already pushing the mid-tier 1, and really in this situation, the mid-tier 1 much more valuable. So this is really just a situation of, you know, Encore forced us up here, forced us to make a rotation with all our heroes, and we were able to punish them with it by just getting 1 kill. But as Encore realized that all those heroes had rotated up there, they made a quick rotation towards the mid lane and got that tier 1 tower. Finally, TylooG will get that top tier 1. And oh boy, Sinful has just completed his Radiance. So Armlet Radiance just under 14 minutes into the game. That's pretty damn fast. Pretty damn fast. We're going to get a taunt off here onto Blood, as Blood has just been having a very difficult game on this Abaddon. He will get away with actually full HP. But still, they have not been making it easy for him, and now Sinful picks up a Bounty Rune. Will they go in with this Radiance, or are they just going to wait and farm it up? They could even go bottom and go for this tier 1 tower. The creep wave's already kind of pushing, but I hear him channeling an Unstable Concoction. He's going to toss it onto Lacoste. A stun, some right clicks But there's that cold embrace from the Winter Wyvern. Going to keep him alive for a little bit longer. Hasasa is getting very, very low, but now his team comes in as I hope that your well gets a huge sonic wave off as the freezing field from Sturban is doing so much work, but it's not enough. His team has already lost 3 heroes. But maybe it was enough because now the axe goes down as the ancients come in and kill him. I thought he was actually going to get away from that safely, but not the case. The relocate will bring back the Wisp and the Alchemist. But it looks like it's going to be a complete disengage from the 2 remaining members from TylooG. A pretty even fight there between both teams. It was looking one-sided, and then it was looking completely the other way, and then it turns out to be pretty much even in the end. It is important that that Alchemist didn't die, though. Challenge the Unstable Concoction. He's going to toss it on a Lacoste. It's going to stun Sturban as well with the AoE. As Blood rotating in as well, but Dindo will meet up with the 2 retreating members from Encore. And I don't think we're going to have an engage here as both teams look like they're backing away. But Sturban's kind of hanging around. Places an Observer Ward and puts him in a little bit of a vulnerable situation. But they won't be able to pounce. Sasa now has completed his Yasha. We still don't have that Necro book, Completo Ipino. Because he really hasn't made much gold progress. As it's going to be Boots of Travel for Sinvul as they're going to come in and deliver that, flying in on the courier. As DHX has a lot of gold right now. This is a pretty rich IO for this point in the game. Look at how far up the list he is. He's actually ahead of their Beastmaster so far. That's Lacoste. We'll throw in some Splinter Blast, try to get a little bit of harass damage in, but the tier 1 tower is already down. And now this is just a matter of TylooG making sure that they get back. And don't lose any heroes here, because if they lose a hero, it could be a very easy push from Encore to go for the tier 2. But they're not backing, not pushing just yet. They're just going to hang around and wait, see what kind of develops here. They're going to let Sinvul just kind of front line. Winter's Curse going to get cast on him as he's getting smacked by 2 of his teammates. Shallow Grave having to get forced out immediately. Primal Roar are also going to come out as Pino's going to be the first one to go down, but a huge sonic wave from the Queen of Pain will allow them to get 2 kills. It's actually the Gyrocopter that gets the 2, as Dindo is also going to go down as well. And Encore, they stayed. They wanted to push that tier 2 tower. It was a great initiation from the Winter's Curse on Lacoste, and that led to TylooG just getting a full 5-man team wipe. That is a lot of gold going their way. Just under 5,000 gold advantage for them on the back of that, and that was much needed because this Alchemist was starting to run away with the game, and they needed to get a couple more of their heroes kind of higher up on that list in terms of net worth, have a little bit more tools to kind of deal with the fact that this Alchemist is starting to become an issue. And they won that team fight in a big, big way, and they're going to get a tier 1 tower on the back of it. Some pings are coming in. They're actually going to come to defend this as Axe going to TP, and we're actually going to have TylooG completely back away. Courier just delivered the Aghanim Scepter for the Queen of Pain. And it's a Blink Dagger up on the Crystal Maiden, sitting on her stash right now, but it's a decent timing for Crystal Maiden to get a Blink Dagger. Considering Sturban, I mean, he's at 2-0 and 6. He hasn't died, but he wasn't really too effective early on in the game.
Dire's top tower is
But
under attack.
he hasn't died, despite the fact that his teammates, some of them have been having a little bit of a harder time staying alive.
Dire's top
And
tower
he got to
has
that
fallen.
Blink Dagger timing pretty quickly.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
There's that Vanguard getting purchased by the Axe. As we won't have a push for this tier 1. Looks like TylooG's going to back away again. But Invisroom is going to be activated by I Hope That You're Well. They're even going to place a sentry here to make sure that the rotation up towards the top lane isn't spotted.
Is under attack.
But it looks like Encore, they can read the map well. They know what's happening. Sinvul going to start TPing away. Sturban had vision there with the Crystal Nova, but wasn't able to get in range for the Frostbite. He already blinked to get closer. Pino taking some rash damage. There's the Frostbite coming out from Sturban. He'll respond with a Primal Roar. Shallow Graves there as well. Sinvul is going to get relocated on top of them. And he's just going to try to smack down as many targets as he can, but the Winter's Curse was on point there. And it's a complete turnaround. Sturban once again lets it go on that Crystal Maiden with the Freezing Field, doing so much damn damage. And the only one left alive is actually the one who was the initial focus target from TylooG, and that's Pino, as he got back to the safety of his well, but it's another one-sided fight, another 3,000 gold swing going the way of TylooG. As it was looking like Encore is off to a great start, but the last couple engagements have not gone their way at all. We're now at the 20-minute mark, and they lost their mid-tier 1 tower. They may even lose their mid-tier 2, or they might back before they actually get it. In fact, yeah, they're going to bring it down to about half HP before they back. But we'll quickly take a look at our net worth, and it was kind of Encore's game there for a while, almost 5,000 gold lead, but now we saw it come all the way back to 0. Then they pulled out ahead again, and that's kind of the Alchemist effect. But then immediately another team fight win for TylooG brings them in the lead in terms of net worth, now 1,500 gold ahead. XP, pretty similar, but more so in favor of TylooG, as they're now over 5,000 gold or XP ahead of their counterparts on Encore. But there has been, you know, two back-to-back disaster team fights for Encore, but don't count them out of this. This is a big Alchemist, and he can get very, very scary very quickly. He's still kind of in farming mode as well. He's not in, you know, full-on 6-slotted blender mode on the Alchemist. He's not there yet. He's still very much in kind of farming mode. So he's got a lot of strength to come. And we still haven't really seen the Alchemist explode in his farmer capabilities and his net worth take off, despite the fact that he's quite a bit ahead of anyone else on the dire side. But that's kind of what we're used to for the Alchemist. One of the things that really has set them back is this Wisp was getting pretty close to his mech. And those couple deaths have really set him back in terms of his progression towards that. He would like to have the buckler by now, but unfortunately not going to be the case. Pino about to have level 2 Necro Book because he's approaching the recipe cost there to buy the second one. Manta now getting purchased by the Alchemist. Further give him a little bit stronger kind of team fight potential, but still boosting his ability to farm as the bottom tier 1 tower goes down there. But Encore is chipping away at 2 different tier 2s. They were chipping away at mid, bunch of TPs come in, and instead they're just going to go for the top one as 7s. Looked like he might have been in trouble there, but he manages to get a blink away. So the top tier 2 will go down as Encore brings down another tower in their first tier 2 of the game, and the fact that the first tier 2 that we've seen go down. Prior to that, we did have a BKB get purchased by Sasa, so he's kind of ready to fight. I'd like to see him complete his S and Y before they do so. There are 2,200 gold up on the Queen of Pain. She's going to start working towards her next item. I tell you, Sturban's just been making constant progression with his items. He now has the Shadow Amulet, so is that going to be a Glimmer Cape for him, or is he going to go after a Shadow Blade to go with his Blink Dagger? I think Glimmer is kind of the better choice. But we'll see. They've already got one up on Lacoste. And Blood still just holding on to this Blightstone. I like it. I'm a fan of it. As now they're going to go for a 4-man smoke. We still haven't seen either team using, or at least I don't think so, using the scans this game. As Sinvol's going to walk right into that smoke gang coming out from TylooG. Now he's going to get frozen up. There's that Manta, showing how effective it can be against a Frostbite. You see just immediately Manta's out of that and is able to run away as the homing missile, well, it'll get there eventually, I guess. What is all this ping spam going on? Oh, they see the Wisp was there. When did he do that? Maybe he was doing it to try and save the Alchemist? Well, I don't really think the alchemist was that close to being in danger, but obviously they saw that and immediately started pinging it out like crazy. Because they definitely had no idea that the wisp was there to try and save the alch. They'll take it. Free kill on the little ball of light. Is Blade Mail getting completed by 7s? As we get to see how effective that's going to be on the axe. We already know it's effective from previous patches. It's nothing new, but it certainly will have buff damage for him. There's an ultimate orb got purchased by I Hope That You're Well. Sturban still hasn't upgraded his Shadow Amulet yet. As we got one Perseverance purchased by Winter Wyvern. I imagine he's going to work towards his Refresher. A lot of pings coming out as TylooG want to maybe go for a Roche. Here, this is kind of risky. As a Hawk's going to fly in from the Beastmaster. And Stas is going to come out of the Roche pit and kill it. Because I think they realize that this is really risky for them. And on top of that, there was a split pushing Alchemist up in the top lane that they had to come back and defend. He added on that Octarine. This is an Alchemist build that we saw kind of plague pubs for a while. 2 patches ago, I believe. Might even be more than that, but the mid Alchemist was pretty much in every single pub game, going almost exactly this build, just without the armlet, just kind of rushing that Radiance and the Manta Octarine with the Boots of Travel, of course. Well, I'm glad that this game has been a lot closer than the other game that we cast, because that one was a little bit one-sided, but Encore and TylooG look like they're pretty even in terms of skills so far. As we can quickly look at our net worth, and we've seen it's been kind of up and down as Encore starting to run away with it again, but once again, you have to keep in mind that a lead is expected for Encore because they have an Alchemist. They have one of the superior, well, frankly, the best farming hero in the game, but he also he's got that ability to farm so quickly, got that additional gold from Grievel's Greed because he needs more items to function. And he's kind of one of those heroes that, yes, he gets really, really scary when you get super late game and he's 6 slotted, but he gets to the 6 slot before the other heroes get to 6 slot. That's what makes him absolutely the scariest, is that the other heroes aren't really full items yet to really deal with him. They need a little bit more time to deal with him, so that's where Alchemist really shines. So of course we expect the net worth to be in favor of Encore, so you have to kind of almost take the 0 line and move it up, as we've got potentially action up in the top as Pino has been stunned up or frozen up, as he's going to let a Primal Roar go, as he's now going to get frozen, and I Hope That You're Well will be perfectly fine. But meanwhile on the bottom lane, Sevens has found a taunt target as he trapped Lacoste there, and Sinville was able to right-click him down with help from the 2 supports as well. But Sinville's actually going to TP away. He's going to go back to the mid lane as he continues to just constantly farm this map. So it was a Glimmer Cape from Sturban, as finally we'll have that Blightstone upgraded on Blood, as it's going to build into a medallion. Hope That You're Well, sitting at 2,400 gold right now. And Crimson Guard getting picked up by 7s. So we'll actually quickly bring up our items here, so you guys can quickly take a look to see if you've missed anything. We've got Mech nearing completion for the Wisp. He's sitting at 730 gold right now. So he's very, very close to that 900 for the recipe. Beyond that, I think I've drawn attention to everything else. I believe we still have a 10-second BKB on the gyro. That we do, so I believe we're completely caught up. Speaking of the gyro, where the heck is he spending his gold? And we see, I just kind of caught the end of it, but there was a a scan being used over Roche. Once again, it does not reveal heroes inside Roche Pit. If there are heroes in there, they are not revealed by a scan. We saw Lucchini do it a bunch in the Dota 2 Canada Cup, but it does not reveal heroes in Roche Pit. But yeah, Sasa sitting there with a bunch of gold. Looks like he's bought a Demon Edge. Are we gonna see a Rapier? Do they really feel like they need a Rapier? I don't know. I mean, he could just go for an MKB. But that's not fun. The MKB is pretty valuable going up against the Radiants because of the mischance.
We'll take that.
And it's one of the biggest things that's going to increase the damage on the Gyrocopter's flak. Obviously, you can't go for a crit because flak attacks don't want a crit. Well, it's pretty much your big ticket for increasing the damage. I'm still surprised he didn't complete his S and Y. Further get his HP up. I haven't really messed around too much with the changes to S and Y. I believe it procs more but is less effective when it procs. Something like that. I don't exactly remember the S and Y changes. Well, he's about to hit 3,000 gold, so we'll see if he's going to build that into an MKB or he's going to keep saving for the relic. Doesn't really have much reliable gold, just 250, so he doesn't really have to worry too much about that. I don't think he's really going to be saving for full buyback at this point in the game. I don't really... I mean, we're 31 minutes into the game, but an MKB would be huge for them in a team fight. And certainly he needs a supporting cast to be able to really defend the base. Oh, mech's going to get completed by the Wisp, and there we go. Sasa will have just purchased double javelins as he needs the courier to deliver, and it looks like we've got a sheepstick completed by the Queen of Pain as well. So I hope that your roll's got that to sheep up the alchemist in the next team fight. Sinval channeling the unstable concoction. Blood's trying to juke and jive through the trees. Make sure he doesn't have vision, but he does. He finds it and he tosses it. But now it's actually going to be a turnaround. Borrowed time gets popped there by Blood as Relocate's going to bring the alchemist away and try to heal him back up. And here's the re-engage. But it's completely countered by a huge Winter's Curse, but it's not going to be enough as we're going to have a buyback on the Abaddon. Sasa trying to run away, not going to be able to do so. So the buyback on Blood isn't really going to be that effective because he's not going to be able to defend just himself being alive right now. And we're going to have another buyback from the Winter Wyvern. Unfortunately, that's the only ones that they have available. Now Blood is about to go down. He's going to get cold embraced by Lacoste, which will delay his death, but I imagine he's going to go down as soon as that ends. And it will. He will. It's ultra kill for Sinval, and if he gets the kill here on Lacoste, it will be a rampage. He's going to go for it. He's going into the fountain. He wants this, and he wants it bad. Cold Embrace going to delay it, but Lacoste will survive as Sinval didn't feel up to tanking the fountain for that long to go for the rampage. But he wanted it. You could just tell he wanted it. So I guess this kind of goes back. As he's going to throw it on, but Glimmer Cape is there. But I think this kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Sturban. Oh, Cold Embrace from Lacoste. Unstable Concussion, going to get tossed onto Lacoste. Sinval, I imagine the Radiance Burn will not be enough. Oh, he thought he had it, but Glimmer Cape was there. Lacoste is going to survive, but this goes back to what I was talking about, you know, he didn't feel that he was really going to need the buyback. Maybe we're wrong on that. Because that team fight was a complete disaster for them. And it looked good. There was a really good Winter's Curse from Lacoste. But it just wasn't enough. Encore just completely dominated that team fight. And this Alchemist is just, he's too big now. He's just absolutely too big. 36,000 net worth. I'm not sure if TylooG is going to be able to hold on now. Based on how that last fight went, it was Encore basically ran all over them. And this is the moment where the Alchemist is getting very, very scary as he just buys, well, he's about to buy a second Aghanim Scepter. So he's going to pass that probably to 2 teammates. He might eat one himself. We'll see. But Encore just keeps getting stronger and stronger. As there we go. We got 2 Aghanim Scepter flying in on that courier and on a magic stick. As Sevens probably could have sold that. He doesn't really need that anymore. But alright, Sinvil's going to drop that. He's going to give one to the Axe.
My gratitude.
And the other one went to Dindo. Interesting. Putting on the Dazzle. Guess he doesn't really have anyone else on his team to give it to. I'm surprised they didn't eat it himself. It's certainly not bad to buff Weave with the Aghanims. Here we go. This is going to be maybe the uphill push. And they're going to come back towards bottom, meet up with Pino. Is now? Oh. Man, they're playing so cautious. They're going to back away. They've now hemmed TylooG into their base, so maybe they're going to try to go for a Roche here. They would burn through him very, very quickly. They don't have a medallion up on the Dazzle, so not as quickly as they could if they did have a medallion, but they don't really need that minus armor at this point in the game. As Roche just goes down so quick, and there's really no threat. There's a nice scan getting used up in this area. And there's now scan coming out from TylooG. Notice it did reveal some heroes, but that's because they had passed outside of the Roche pit. Man, some of these heroes are so damn big. He's going to buy another Aghanim Scepter. The Sinvil is just so big on this Alchemist. And even Sevens is really big on this Axe as well. And now that he's got an Aegis, it's going to be even harder to bring him down. Got to bring him down twice. What is Pino saving for? 3,800 gold? Boots of Travel, I imagine, is going to be his next item.
Beastmaster.
Beastmaster will eat an Aghanims there. I don't remember what his does. I'll just cool down the cast range. That could be big. Lacoste finishes his refresher orb. So now they're going to have double Winter's Curse. But oh no, Lacoste is in trouble. Will he even get one off? As he's going to Glimmer Cape himself. There we go. He cast one. As it's going to be on a Necrobook minion to get them to attack it. But I hope that your well is going to go down. Blood now forced to pop his Borrowed Time as Let It Go was coming out from Sturban, but it wasn't going to do as much work this time around as he goes down into immediate buyback from the Queen of Pain as she's joining back into the fray. Lacoste would like to throw out some more Winter's Curse, but he's already used 2. And now he's completely out of mana as the mid racks will go down, and now the bottom tier 3 is feeling threatened. The last set of racks for TylooG is in very, very dangerous position right now, as TylooG desperately trying to defend here. But the melee racks is down, the range racks soon to follow, as Encore going to get mega creeps. Primal Roar is going to go out onto Sasa. Seven's going to blink forward, gets a taunt off onto the Abaddon, chops one head. Will he find another to chop off? He's going to come back to help his team on the Queen of Pain. She's going to go down before he even gets there. Now he's going to turn around, go on to Sasa. Shallow Grave going to be used to keep the Axe alive, as Sasa is going to be kept alive by the Cold Embrace. Seven's not going to be able to use the chop because he's dead and respawning with the Aegis, but the GGs will get called as that Gyrocopter does go down. We're going to have Encore advance into round 3 as they take the game against TylooG in a pretty damn awesome game. Oh, a little bit of BM, not the good sports that we saw last game, but that was 24 kills on either side. Obviously, the Alchemist farmed his little heart out. 1,169 GPM. What a monster! What an absolute monster was Sinvil on that Alchemist. My goodness. Well, they're going to advance into round 3. And we'll see how far they manage to progress through these brackets as they're up on Face It. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep casting some games until we finish the round of 64. This was round 2, I believe, the round of 256. So we do have a couple more rounds for them before we call it quits for tonight, and we move on to tomorrow, where we pick up at 2 o'clock. But we do have some more games to cast, so I'm going to throw it to some music in the meantime. Once again, guys, if you're listening in Dota TV, I'm Niz, and I was casting on twitch.tv/NizCast. And if you already are on my Twitch channel, hit that follow button and come back for some more games I'm going to be casting. I also cast the Semi-Pro Cup Series every Sunday. I'm casting some of the Dota 2 Canada Cup and probably going to be casting some of the Summit 5 qualifiers as well. So definitely hit that follow button if you're interested in watching any of that stuff. But we do have plenty more Manila Major Open qualifier action for the Americas to come, so don't go anywhere. Like I said, throwing it to music. We'll be back in just a short little break with our next game.